The views expressed in the following podcast have been tested for radioactivity, toxicity, and carcinogenic properties by various governmental organizations who promptly sealed the results for national security reasons. We really wish they had not shared the results with us. These opinions do not reflect the views of our employers, friends, spouses, or mutant clones. Your mileage may vary. Welcome to Chew and Change. The drinking is real, the people are real, and the opinions, unfortunately, are also real.
We recently were notified by the Office Québécois de la langue française that we need to start speaking in French on our podcasts.
How would the Quebec language police have any jurisdiction over our podcast?
They said something about finally getting a download in Quebec, so...
Okay.
Well, to avoid getting fined, I translated part of our opening skit in Google Translate.
That doesn't really solve the problem of none of us speaking French.
You know, to be fair, in the letter, they didn't say how good our French had to be.
Okay, guys, here's the printouts.
All right. J'aime la campagne des hommes avec de grands mamelons. Mon écuyer me dit de faire de mauvaises choses.
That's right, Tim. Je suis désolé, mais mes fesses sont pleines de fromage. Je suis une fille de 12 ans nommée Chloé.
You make a good point, Mike. J'aime me secouer la grâce du bras. Je m'écouille et dormi la plupart des nuits.
Well, you know, Josh, I can see your point. J'ai volé mes chaussures et un pauvre comédien. Mes poses pubiennes sont gélifiées comme les percées.
I agree!
Tim, is that your phone?
Sorry, guys. I just got a text from the Office Québécois de la langue française. They're giving us the fine anyway.
Run those phrases through Google Translate again?
I just did. How do you say hate crime in French?
No idea. Why?
No reason. Hey, isn't your dad a francophone?
Mad.
Welcome to Two and Change. I am Josh, and I am sorry for everything that was just said and the butchering of that language, which was on purpose to some extent.
Speak for yourself. I was doing my best. What?
Yeah. So I am drinking a beer.
Polliner.
A Holliner.
Polliner.
A Polliner.
The dude's name's Paul.
Paul.
Polliner.
Polliner.
There you go.
There you go. All right, I'm drinking a Polliner.
It's like
from
the
Germany.
band from the 80s, Polliner.
Or is it Belgian?
It's German.
It's German. Yes,
Munich.
German
It's
beer.
Munich
It's
beer.
fantastic. It's by far, I think my favorite beer.
Really?
Yes.
So you'd rank it high in the mediocre scale?
Very high on the mediocre scale. It is off the mediocre scale. This one is very good.
It's on the ochre scale,
The ochre scale?
which is a shade of blue.
I thought it was a shade of brown.
Hush you.
Red, actually. Sorry. Ochre's red. Ochre's red.
We know our colors like we know our French.
Ochre's
No
red.
kidding.
Is it a reddish brown? Like a red brown? I don't know.
I don't even know
knows?
what indigo is.
Ochre's red.
Well, you can't see indigo.
Comment.
No, I can't. I can't see
For
indigo.
the love of God, comment and tell us what ochre is, because we're three white guys who have no
It's
idea
really
about
good.
colors.
I know it's really good deep fried.
What's chartreuse?
That's like a purple.
Is it?
I think so.
I have no
It's a
idea.
blue. Well,
Yeah, don't look at me. I have no idea. Yeah. Man, this is Mike. I am drinking a... I'm back to the Viking Honor. The
Highland Park, right?
The Highland Park 12-year Viking Honor whiskey. It's good. It's nice. For me, I've got a bottle of Tomatin 12 at home, so I've been drinking a lot of that. I'm like, hey, well, let's break it up tonight. Also, you don't have any Tomatin 12 left, so I'm drinking Viking Honor, and it's good.
Yeah, we drained that bad boy.
Did we ever?
And of course, this is Tim. Previously, I was drinking a cup of tea in Buckley's. Because I'm actually, if you can hear from my voice, a bit under the weather. But hey, we are professionals. We soldier through.
We do.
We absolutely do.
where's the bucket?
So yeah, you might hear me mute in and out here and there to cough. But anyway, I'm going to soldier through this lovely Hofbrau from Munich. And by the time you hear this podcast, I will be back from Germany. So check out our website, twoandchange.ca. You're going to see some cool shit.
You're going to see like the equivalent of that annoying time when a relative comes back from some trip to Europe and they make you look through 800 pictures, none of which you actually care about, but you have to pretend to like them anyway. That's what you'll see on our website.
That was brutal. That was,
Well, don't oversell it, Mike.
Oh, there you go.
So today we're talking about bilingualism in Canada. Well, we could talk about it in general terms, but we are in Canada. We are officially a bilingual nation, one of many nations that are.
Yeah.
Our province is not bilingual.
No,
are we
it's not.
technically
there's only-
trilingual?
Nope.
No,
Not
There's
officially.
only 2 official languages. There are other languages listed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because I
but
know a lot of the native
official languages.
Because I know the
are.
native languages you can speak in House of Commons.
Yeah, and yes,
Get
and
interpreters and whatever. Yeah.
yeah, and lacrosse is the official sport. But hey,
Yeah, exactly. Nobody
really
plays
cares.
lacrosse.
Nobody
either.
cares.
Yeah.
And hockey. Hockey is the other official sport.
Yeah.
of
And the
course.
beaver is our national animal, and we almost hunted it to extinction. That's the relevance it has for us.
Beaver hunting.
Beaver hunting. It's amazing.
I saw that on porn. Never mind where I saw that.
Yeah, let's not go there. There's no way for me to make that sexual in any way, and yet here you are.
You can't think of how to make beaver hunting sexual.
No. And
No?
I would rather not be educated either.
Well,
What the
I know what we're doing on our break.
No, we're not doing that as a group of men. That's just
Hey, you guys got to do the whole thing with little
just
Joe.
when you get home.
Oh,
just
shit.
go
I
on
just
and-
figured it
go
out.
on and-
I just
you know,
figured it out.
And
Ah.
it's Google beaver.
Nope. Negative. I just figured it out. I know what's up. I know what it is. Never mind.
There you go. There you
All
go.
right, bilingualism. Yay, nay.
Well, okay.
It's
so
okay,
let's. Well,
hey, we-
what's the current state, right? So
No.
I mean, every province you're supposed to be able to get service in English and French.
Sure.
We only have one bilingual province as a province, which is New Brunswick.
Yeah.
Which is where my family's actually from, and they've got a very interesting policy. So it used to be, if you're anglophone, you send your kid to French school. If you're a francophone, you send your kid to English school, and it all sort of works out. So you get a lot of bilingual people. And it's actually, for New Brunswick, it's actually turned out to be a pretty good business decision, because guess where a lot of government call centers,
Yep.
banking centers are, because they can get this bilingual experience without having to hire 2
Yeah.
people.
Exactly.
So, I mean, from an economic point of view, it's been okay for them. I mean, by maritime province standards, of course,
Right. Yeah.
because you can't factor that in. But then I think where people get upset,
Still a
with-
lot of potatoes.
still a lot of patat.
Patat. Patat.
I was lied to in French class. They told me it was pomme de terre.
That's what it is. Wait.
No,
That's,
not in Canada.
what?
It's patat.
Patat is the French word for potatoes?
In Canada, it is.
What?
Canadian French is really lazy. It's fine.
Patat.
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 Who cares?
I knew that France French and Quebecois were very, very different languages, but I
Yeah,
didn't
and
know.
it's the same in Acadian. They've got the patat. It's
Acadian. Is that another dialect of French? So it's
Oh
actually like
yes,
4 or
it
5
is.
Yeah.
They were here before the Quebecois were, despite what the Quebecois say.
Well, the
True
Quebecois
story.
aren't necessarily people that I, have a whole lot of faith in their history of anyway, but
Well, I think that kind of gets to the thrust of the conversation. I mean, first of all, anyone at the table really have a problem with bilingualism?
I find it hypocritical but it doesn't bother me enough to launch a protest about it.
Josh?
I don't have a problem with it.
All right, well, I want to thank you for listening to our show.
Well, no, I don't have a problem with it. No.
I think it's a colossal waste of money, and I think that if we were truly concerned about making sure that the people are properly, able to get their service in their language of choice, we ought to be trilingual, not bilingual. But the only reason why
Which is a third language
Inuktitut or Inuktitut.
No, actually,
in Southern Ontario?
no, realistic.
No, if you want, well, here's the thing.
Wouldn't it be like Cree or something?
Cree, no.
Not around here, I guess.
But I'm talking about Canada-wide, because here's the thing. Ontario is not, you said so yourself, Ontario is not a
It'd be
bilingual
Mandarin or
province.
Hindi.
No, that's not necessarily. Well, official policy, we're not bilingual, but there are pockets of French community, Sudbury, North Bay. As soon as you start moving north,
There's
you
actually
start
one
moving-
decent little pocket of French community over by Windsor.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
legit. Yeah, LaSalle is named LaSalle for a reason.
I just thought they ran out of names.
No,
That's
it's
kinda what I
like
thought
we're
too.
like how we're like
Yeah, the
London,
country-
Ontario.
No, the
fuck it, we'll
country
call it
area around
London.
there is actually there's a fully French speaking pocket. That's like
Why isn't it
They're
called
on
New
the-
London?
Because what
New York, New Hampshire, New London.
No,
sure.
No, we want it to be the London,
The London?
Why did theirs come first, or
the chicken or the egg.
I think
That's
London,
not-
England
that's
exists.
just dumb.
do they have a Thames?
Colloquialism.
We,
Chicken
we
or
have
the
a
egg.
Thames.
Of course,
We
the
have,
egg came first.
We do. Damn.
And we have a King and Queen Street.
We do have a King and Queen Street. It's almost like they copied us.
Yeah, I'm taking London back. They can be New London. Fuck it, I don't care.
Exactly.
No, okay. So I mean, we do have pockets of bilingualism in our own province. Where I guess it's kind of weird to me is when I'm in an LCBO in London, Ontario, buying some beer,
and there's no one who speaks French for hundreds, if not thousands of kilometers away from me.
Yeah.
10% of the population is francophone in London.
Yes, but this is an English-speaking area.
It is. It
Right.
is like those 10% of the people also speak English.
Yes. They didn't move to London.
Don't. Yeah, see, but my
They
kids,
didn't move to London expecting they wouldn't have to learn
it's like
English.
because my kid goes to all my kids did, but they go to francophone daycare.
Yeah.
So there are actually
So they hand them-
instructors and stuff. They don't speak. Some of them don't speak any.
Hold on a second. Francophone daycare.
Yeah.
So they're handed their little cigarette and their bottle of wine and
And the beret.
I gotta train. my
life is
kids up.
shit, kids.
Exactly.
The sooner you learn it, the better. Here are your blocks. Choke on them. Yes, that's French. Anyway,
That's France. Yes. They're
well, yes, well,
much
point-
more simple people.
but point taken. But it's like it seems a little strange and out of place that maybe there is a little waste of efficiency when you're in a government building in London, Ontario, provincial government building, when expecting a service in French in an area that does not speak French versus an on-demand service. So I can see where some inefficiencies would creep in.
Especially when you have like that one person who's going to walk. Like, I mean, you're someone who's bilingual because you have to be bilingual to work in that office. And maybe once every month you'll have somebody come in who speaks French, and you have to be able to converse with them in French. Of those people, the 12 people during the year that come in and speak French, you already know 11 of them could speak English too. They're just being that way because they want to.
You don't actually. So a lot of the governmental positions in places like London and areas, they're not all. A lot of them aren't bilingual. A lot of them are unilingual positions.
Okay.
Where you find a lot of the bilingual positions in like Ontario government and things like that, you'll find them in Ottawa or Sudbury, where you actually have the French communities. It really is required. Like you go to northeastern Ontario, there literally is people who don't speak English.
Yeah.
So
Well, I wouldn't call it they speak English as English either.
Yeah.
yeah,
Have you heard them talk?
they don't.
They don't.
Just
There are
kidding.
fantastic people in northeastern Ontario.
Yes.
All 7 of them are fantastic.
All 7 of them. Yes.
6 teeth between them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yep. And
I'm
they're,
joking.
and
I'm
they're all named Bill, even the girl. Yeah.
That's my family.
Billy.
Billy. Yeah.
we
Billette.
know.
Billy and Bobby. That's like half my family.
Exactly.
Legit.
Yeah.
Well, cousin's gonna.
So how did you end up with Josh?
I don't know.
You know, Joshua, sophisticated name based on the Hebrew word for the Lord saves, all that. Yeah.
Well, they were at church, and things happen.
Yeah, I know, but still, you get Billy and Bob. I mean,
Hey, careful. He's a king who slayed many, so watch where you...
he shed the blood of the Saxon men.
That's right.
He shed
So
the blood of the Saxon
bilingualism.
men.
Yeah, it's my fault for derailing. Well,
Yes, it
okay,
was your
so-
fault for derailing. I blame you. But that's okay.
It's my fault, yeah. So I'm thinking about this from, we talk about, people, why does it make sense that they can get services in French in Southern Ontario? But then you flip it around to Quebec, who's also popular French police. And they also have this thing where you cannot get provincial services in English.
Yeah, which,
You must and only can receive them in French.
and I call bullshit. I absolutely call
But
bullshit.
would it
on
be
that.
any different as if in London, Ontario, we weren't hiring any francophone Ontario provincial officials?
Well, but here's the thing. That's not the situation we're in. Right now, we offer services in both languages. They don't. I call bullshit.
I don't call bullshit on that. I mean, if you're...
I call bullshit.
If you're majority, you're majority. That's up to the province. Where I do call bullshit on is...
How's that not a human rights issue?
I think to the Anglophone population, I think it is
Which
a
is pretty
problem.
significant.
Yeah, especially in like
It's not tiny.
Like in Montreal, there's really big pockets of Anglophones.
Yeah.
But in the surrounding suburbs and stuff, and definitely in Montreal, that's like the biggest pocket of them. But and you can go to spots in Montreal where it is actually sort of English speaking and English interaction and English offices.
Last
and
time
stuff,
I was
but-
in Quebec, I tried to order food in French.
Yeah.
They just switched to English right
Yeah,
away.
they know. So
They know.
They know.
Yeah, you just
If you
say-
try to order it in English first, they pretend they don't understand. If you
my-
try and order it in French first, they'll switch to English for you.
My,
there
my
you go.
go-to in
It's nice.
Montreal is bonjour, how are you? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
they just know.
Oh, it's sort of like when you're in line at a government office. We hello, hi. That's what they say each time.
Yeah,
we hello, hi.
Yep.
Just so they know you speak both
Yeah.
languages.
Salut, hello, bonjour.
Have you ever been on a train that crossed the Ontario-Quebec border? Something very interesting happens. So they do all announcements on the train in both official languages.
Yeah.
English and French. As soon as they cross the Quebec border, same thing, except they do the Quebec, like French first, then English.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
It is
Even though
interesting.
it's the same train of the same fucking people,
That's very
nothing changed. It's the
Yeah,
same
I noticed
people.
that when I took the train to Montreal. years ago, and I was like, "What is going French first?" Yeah, I thought it was funny. It was.
I mean, I guess it makes sense, but it seems
Well,
like
it's
a
because
very...
the police. So this is where I actually have the problem, and you'll probably agree with this, actually, Mike.
All right.
Is I don't like when they force businesses who have a largely predominant customer base that's English speaking in Canada as a whole, when they force businesses because they operate out of Quebec, everything has to be in French.
Well, not just English speaking. You also have Arabic communities. You also have other minorities. You know what? We're going to take a quick break to get some air, and so I can cough a little bit more into the microphone.
There you go.
We'll bring this topic up when we come back. You're listening to Two and Change. This is Tim.
Mike.
And Josh.
If you're enjoying the show, check us out at twoandchange.ca. There you can write a comment, check out our blog, and you can also find out why Mike is often wrong.
Or why Tim is always wrong.
Or why Mike is wrong.
Anyway, I hope you're enjoying the show. We'll see you soon.
Welcome back to the continuation of Two and Change, the bilingual edition. Thanks to the Canadian mic check, I switched to Bitburger. I think everyone else still has their standard beverages.
Actually, I've switched to Canadian Club 12 year.
I'm still working away on that.
I think it's actually all right.
Yeah, it's not bad, huh? I mean, it's no, you can't compare it like a single malt or something, but
It's definitely not a single. Well, yeah, it's definitely not a single.
it's its own thing. But it's the
It's
12-year small batch is actually quite good.
It's not terrible. It's really good stuff. Yeah.
And you're still on the Pollender, right?
Yep.
We haven't done the whole "Hey, what are you drinking now?" thing at the after the mid-show.
We
for a while,
usually don't. Yeah, it's been. Yeah, well, that's because we normally don't switch. But hey, we, a couple of us switched it
Well,
up.
you know, actually, we are coming to our 1-year anniversary of
We
Two and Change.
are. I think is it what, like next episode or something?
It's going to be I've got to do the math. I think our very first episode.
Yeah.
You
It
know
was in
what?
October.
It's been almost a year, hasn't it?
It's been almost.
It
a
really
year.
has, yeah.
That does not seem right.
I know.
Yeah, I know. Well, let's, there's an easy way of finding out.
Yeah.
This thing has
I'm
been
gonna-
going on almost as
now
long as my Dungeons and
no-
Dragons group.
But we're better.
I'm just gonna ignore
When
that
we
comment.
when we have trolls.
Yeah.
Well, when we have trolls, we invite Jordan.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, that's
Huh?
right.
Huh?
And he fills that role brilliantly.
Okay, let me just...
Water
I'm just
under the
logging
bridge.
into our old
I mean, or
Podbean.
trolls. under the bridge.
Billy Goat, yes.
Oh, the goat
Oh,
noise!
the goat noise! I remember the
I
goat
forgot
noise.
about that. I think that was like on our very first episode. I don't think it's
We had a
made-
debate for like 8 episodes
We
on who
did.
had a better goat noise.
Exactly. He kept on coming back.
Well, the whole thing is that we were afraid of using our last names because, we can't use just. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. You know what? This is our work, and if you can't stand by it, you can't. Then why are we doing it?
Yep.
Yeah, we were paranoid.
We were.
That's
but
right.
then again, we were new
And
at this.
if anyone knows paranoia, it's me, Tim Sanchez. Richard, folks. Richard.
Exactly. It's fine.
It's Richard.
Shut
It's
up.
Richard. Yeah. I remember. Is that something that you changed when you moved to Canada as well? Richard?
No,
it's always been
It's always been
Richard.
Richard? Like, I'm picturing you coming up to Canada like, I gotta be Canadian. Richard. Let's do Richard.
It's funny because I've seen people say Tim Richard or Tim
Hey,
Richard in front of
actually.
him, and it's like not making fun of it like he did, but like saying it, and his whole body just like
Clenches.
Just you can see
Yeah.
that he has now planned that person's murder in his head.
So actually, guys, guess what? So our first episode aired on October 5th of 2017.
So it's like 2 episodes? from
So when this episode airs,
now? Yeah.
this would be basically our 1-year anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Oh,
Yay!
anniversry. Prost, everyone.
Yeah, toast.
Not,
a toast.
not over the equipment, not over the
No,
equipment.
yeah.
Tink.
Tink.
Ting,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, take a sip. Yeah. Well, how about that?
Well, fuck bilingualism. It's a 1-year anniversary.
Exactly.
thing.
Why
That
are we
would
talking
pick it
about bilingualism?
we all agree.
Yeah.
It's a mixed bag at best. There, done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Done.
All right. All right. So, podcast. We've been doing it a whole year.
A year.
Fucking hell, we've been doing it a year.
year long.
I can't believe
This
it.
is where Tim needs to insert a small clip from our original one, just so people can hear what the original one sounded like.
Like with our original quality with the one microphone.
And I'm not going to do that because that involves research on my part.
Oh,
That doesn't involve. That involves like taking a clip and putting it in a thing. That's
Yeah,
not
any-
even-
Then why don't you do it? Oh, wait.
try to
Well,
avoid.
wait, I don't have access to
just
it.
try to avoid the clip where you were talking about pouring champagne down Kim Kardashian's ass. That
No,
was
on.
episode 1.
Oh, God. We've said... You obsess on this point, but we have said so many worse things.
Your
Yeah.
Argentinian
A lot of them in this-
relatives. We talked about. We've insulted
Beaver
just about
hunting.
every single religion at least twice.
Yeah, we have actually.
Even
Yeah.
I think we've
April
invented
Fool's
religions and
episode.
then insulted them.
Yeah.
Like, you're obsessing over the wrong thing, man.
I think so. Then again, we were also
Why is-
talking.
You were so innocent back then, too.
I was so innocent, and
We've ruined you.
I've redeemed
For
you
other
a little
men.
bit. I've redeemed the two of you a little bit.
So here's a question then. Okay, so doing this podcast where we have, so again, the original concept is that we kind of want left, right, center kind of
Yeah.
ideas, but yes and no, but we want to replicate the barroom conversations we have.
Absolutely.
I think we've told the story before how we were in our local pub, Chaucer's, and having a conversation about the banking industry, et cetera, which we haven't replicated on this show because some of us are too sensitive about it.
Some of us will murder you.
Yeah.
Well, some of us are realistic, Josh.
Yeah.
Hey, I am realistic in the way that I will murder you.
Love it.
But, it's...
In some states, trial by combat is still legal.
So, in 1 year, let's ask this question. In the year we've been doing this, has doing the show influenced your views? Has it confirmed your opinions? Has it forced you to reevaluate your opinions? Does anything stick out in your mind where something we've done in the show has changed your views?
I don't know I'm trying to think if there's anything that's changed my views per se.
Or maybe broaden it?
Broaden it, maybe.
Yeah, my views have been broadened for sure. Yeah, when I started this podcast with you folks, I was convinced that there was no such thing as an intelligent socialist.
You're still not convinced. but-
Still not convinced.
I am less unconvinced now.
Less unconvinced.
Oh, yeah, hey, you know what? No, in this year, Josh, you have earned a bachelor's degree.
He has.
Yeah,
in 1 year, too.
Yeah, you finished your degree.
In 1 year,
Yeah,
no.
but you finished your degree, and we've had lots of intelligent conversations. All of us have had something intelligent, coherent to say, no matter pretty much what the topic
Or
has been.
coherent.
Or coherent. Yeah,
Maybe not intelligent,
It
but a
depends how much
coherent
beer.
one. Yeah,
Depends
exactly.
how much booze was involved. I remember our first episode. God, I think you had to be carried out of the house.
I think it was like 7 in when we started recording. And I
that
just
was
kept
fun.
drinking, so.
Yep.
You've learned.
It was. Yeah, so I'd say that my views have been broadened more so in the fact that I was raised in what's probably described very well as some kind and it's natural, a bit of an echo chamber. Like the idea is that all the information you're exposed to is just what you're told is right and everything else that way. But more than that, in an echo chamber, whether or not you still hold to the correctness of those original views or not, when you're in that echo chamber, there's this concept that anyone who's outside that echo chamber is either an idiot or an evil person. And that has been completely dismantled in my life over the last 5 years, and especially here on this podcast as well.
Yeah, that's definitely a view that would change.
I learned a while that we live in our own echo chambers, and I try to challenge my assumptions through other things that happen in my life that I used to be the same way.
Sure.
But I will say from this podcast, I have forced myself more to challenge my own assumptions. Often it reaffirms them. It reaffirms my views on things.
But it makes you have to think about why you have the view.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
read, instead of just reading The Atlantic or just or reading stuff from MSNBC, I have a subscription to The Economist. I read I go to BNN instead of MSNBC every time, right?
Good
It doesn't
show.
change my ideas on most of it.
Yeah.
But it just gives
Breitbart is my homepage.
but no. Fake news is a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But
the Drudge Report.
yeah, fake news. No, I do look at those just to see what the hell they're up to.
Yeah.
But just because it's fascinating. But no, I think if anything, it's taught me to reevaluate and make sure I always am challenging my assumptions. Doesn't always necessarily change the opinions. But it at least reminds me to always challenge my assumptions and make sure that I really do think what I think.
Yeah, and that the people who disagree with you are not the way that they are because they hate humanity or they hate Canada or freedom.
Except Mike.
Or exactly. Yeah, I hate all things living, but other than that, it was fine.
For me, one of the big things is that because we have a short format and the three of us are friends, and I feel closer friends for having done this podcast,
Oh, yeah,
especially
for sure.
with because Josh and I have known each other for a very long time. But bringing Mike in, I feel like we're all pretty close friends now.
Yeah.
To me, having these sort of discussions, especially when I disagree with the other person, is less about being right.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's very. Ask my wife. It's very important for me to be right.
Yeah.
I think you hit the nail on the head there.
And for me, it's not so much about being right anymore. It's just more about getting to understand the other person, trying to get my point across without shouting down the other person, making them feel bad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, trying to understand that conversation is more of a two-way street. So I don't think politically I've kind of changed in my spectrum. I may have actually broadened in both directions a little bit. Typical centrist logic, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
But, I'm probably
You
more
fit
of
in
a-
very well up here in Canada,
yeah.
centrist.
Well, Canadian centrist is like, an American like Bernie Sanders. But
No, I think yeah, that's if anything, it's made me a better mediator in things. Like it's just sort of like back to the thing of what you were saying. It just forces you to not necessarily, because I mean, my wife is definitely, anyone who's ever met me would say like he has to win the argument, and that's that's.
But this isn't an argument.
Some aspects that's the American coming out of me. But
America,
yeah, we got to win every
yeah.
argument, right? And it's socially acceptable down there. Like in Canada,
Politics are a blood sport.
well, yeah, in Canada, you agree to disagree. In the States, that's
not a thing.
there is no agree
You
is not
agree.
a word.
If you disagree, then you rig the election.
Exactly.
And then
right.
you have to
Yeah.
agree.
And then you use the Russians to do it. Wait, what?
So
Yeah.
and I've learned that
You mean the bad guys from Rocky IV?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Wait, that was Rocky IV? Or
Rocky.
how many Rockies were there?
Oh,
no, there's
man.
like 12. Maybe 13.
I don't know. It's because Sylvester Stallone had so many concussions he couldn't act any other role. So like after he did
Oh.
Rambo, he did Rambo, and then he did Rambo, and then he had nothing left to do but Rocky because I don't know. That's all he could do.
Didn't Rocky come? I don't know. I've got to look. I've got to know. If we have any listeners still at this point in the show,
Yeah, no kidding.
If you're a Sylvester Stallone guy, let us. I guess we can. Just
If you are the Sylvester Stallone guy, hey, how are you?
I can't do Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Do
either.
you hang out with Arnold Schwarzenegger? What's up with your brother Frank, by the way? That's just weird.
And by the way, also, thank you for being a producer of Ultimate Beastmaster, that show on Netflix. Boy, is that show ever awesome.
Is that?
Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, Netflix, not porn. No, never mind.
No.
Not
Ultimate
Beast.
Beastmaster.
Beast.
Beastmaster. Have you guys not seen this?
Not Beevemaster.
No, I heard
Beastmaster.
Beatmaster.
The Ultimate Beastmaster. Have you guys not seen the show?
No.
It's this incredible. You know what?
I have normal stuff show up on my Netflix.
It's beyond description.
I watch BoJack Horseman.
Picture
never
world-class
got into that show.
athletes going through the most ridiculous obstacle course you've ever seen, and that's Ultimate Beastmaster. And Sylvester Stallone helped produce it. It was amazing. It was a really well-done show. They've got 3 seasons up now. You guys have Netflix? Go look it up. It's good. It's worth watching.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll wait for the check to come in.
Absolutely.
So is
Sylvester Stallone.
This being our 1 year anniversary, I think we were going to do this, and maybe we'll have to tweak it, and we'll maybe float this boat, and we might have to do the next episode, the start of the new year. For the podcast, but we were gonna have like a
clip show.
I
mean, best of.
A best of.
best of, and we were gonna have like a clip of as many guests as we could. Like,
But that takes work.
It does.
takes work, so we didn't plan properly. We do a lot of planning for this show, but we didn't.
Somehow, here we are doing this episode, and we realize only after the break that it's our 1 year anniversary. So yeah, we do normally plan.
Well, we get busy. We have our own lives.
do.
I mean, I've been, I think as the show has gone on, I remember very early on the show, we were very martial about it, just very very rigid. Okay, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna do. We even had scripted exits. We had we had a whole lot of stuff that was going on, and now we're to the point where we can just show up and just fucking wing it. It's great.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we script the skits, obviously, but I mean, beyond that,
Those are scripted.
But the reality is,
I've been winging it this whole time.
that rigid. So if you ever don't do a podcast, but if you do,
Don't do a podcast.
yeah, it is not a solid business venture. Just saying, this is a hobby.
if you do,
Hey, if each of our listeners send us $732, we might break even this month.
there.
exactly. Hosting this shit ain't cheap, people. I think our sort of rigid rules that we initially set out really helped us in the long term because we created a constant pattern of a show.
Yeah.
That once we've it's like Pavlov's dog. Like once we did it enough, we didn't have to think about it anymore. We just had the flow of the show, and it's been that way ever since, which is kind of nice. We don't have to think about the show, and it really makes it a lot less.
Yeah.
And the big
Stressful.
thing for me was sort of the realization early on is that Mike's schedule, because dude has 6 kids.
I have 6 children.
6.
Yeah.
No. Let's just pause.
Double
for a second.
what I have.
Yes.
Double.
Yeah.
I can't even say
6 children.
6 times what I have because I have 0.
Yep.
You would have to add 1, then multiply by 6.
Exactly.
Then you have 6 times my children.
Yep. So that means that basically Friday nights is the night. Yeah.
Yeah, but not every Friday night because you want to spend time with your family.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I remember early on in the show, we're like, okay, well, we'll schedule 1 episode without Mike, blah blah. But so you hear the early episodes, you hear this. But
Every
then
once in a
we
while, I'm
decided-
not here. Yeah.
Then we decided that doesn't really work.
No.
The 3 of us are the show,
Really, I mean, if there was
better
someone who was
or
going to
worse.
for
replace
better or
me,
worse.
and the only guest that we've had on this show who could reasonably, consistently replace me permanently would be Steve.
I don't think there's any replacement for you, Mike.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Steve is a good guest.
You're a certain kind of crazy.
Yeah. I'm very specific.
That's not denigrating Steve at all. Steve's a very good friend of mine. We
Yeah.
have many great conversations.
Yeah.
He's great politically, but there's something about the dynamic of the 3 of us.
Yeah.
And this sort of dynamic isn't a natural dynamic per se. This dynamic actually takes work.
It does.
It took many months and many years just to get comfortable to the point where we can just sit here and wing it.
Yeah.
We can wing a show pretty much. Like we used to have like talking points and research
Yeah.
and stuff. Now we're to the point where Josh will probably say this and Mike will probably say that. So I'll say this
Exactly.
and stir up some shit. That's kind of the way we go now.
Yep. We kind of know more or less how
Mike will say something stupid libertarian. I will say something intelligent about socialism.
Vice versa, believe me, also works out.
Which I'm less and less social.
And Tim will shake his head and go, yeah, no.
You're both dumbass.
It's actually funny because I don't usually take a centrist position between 2 of you. Usually
You're siding with one or the other.
I'm siding
Yeah.
with one or the other.
Yeah. Which is why I think you keep Josh and I both on our toes a little bit, which is nice.
Yeah, because it's also kind of surprising where I'll come down. There are times I've come down way more conservative than people would expect.
Oh, yeah.
And then sometimes you come down really liberal and like come left of me, and I'm like, what the hell?
Like the gun,
Where'd
the
that
gun
come
control thing we did. I actually came like the most let's melt them all down. The swords to plowshares. Let's do this.
It's always funny when
Swords to plowshares. I get that reference and I love it.
We have
There
to
you go.
find those weird episodes where you come like out on the left somewhere.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
like, and I come like right of everyone because there's a couple where that happened. I just can't think of off the top of the head.
There were a couple of times you made my jaw hit the table, be like, you said what?
So, yeah.
That episode on child molestation that didn't make it to air. I was very surprised about your point of view, Josh. Very surprised.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe no, just joking.
That episode never existed.
Yeah.
Nor was that was in his dreams.
Hey,
It's-
how much to make sure it doesn't exist, Josh?
voice modulation. I'm telling you, everyone.
Exactly.
Oh boy, hey, the technology's there.
It
Technology's
is.
there.
The technology is
This is
there.
why when you have all these companies calling, hey, recognize the voice. Give it 5 years, they won't be doing that anymore.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
They'll just recognize it, and then they'll send you a bill because they've somehow correlated that to your address, and you're missing the payments.
You know what? Some form of identity theft will always exist. So we just need to continue
See
to
the
mitigate it as we
CBC
go
article
forward.
about the CBC article about where they actually went to India and found like the call center of the people who keep doing these.
Oh yeah, the Indian police were like, "Yeah, Canada hasn't contacted us."
No, that's apparently not necessarily the case.
Oh, okay.
The RCMP hasn't been talking to the local cops.
Yeah.
No,
The
they
RCMP has been talking, but that's what
Like
they're
to,
saying.
to like the national equivalent. Yeah.
Yeah, they've been talking like whatever the Indian equivalent of the RCMP
Which
is.
makes sense. They're not going to
Yeah.
go talk to precinct number 74
Exactly.
Bangladesh. That's not India.
Because I recently realized that is not the right way to go about it. I recently had somebody try and rip me off from Ohio. I was selling something, and he wanted me to ship it to him in Ohio. He wanted me to ship this box full of stuff, and legal stuff, by the way. And I found out that he was sending me like fake PayPal payments and stuff. He's like, "Oh, just
Oh.
respond to this email with the tracking number, and then it will release the funds in your account." I'm like, "That's not how PayPal works at all." So I eventually figured out what it was. But here's the thing: he also sent me the shipping address, complete with his name. So I looked up this idiot's name, and turns out this guy had just been convicted of this exact type of crime back in February of this year. So
God.
So I called the local police in Ohio about it and told them what was going on, and they said, "Well, thanks, I guess, but you need to talk to the Attorney General's office. They transferred to the Attorney General of Ohio. And
the attorney, not the office.
The office. The office of the Attorney
I was going to say,
General.
like, the guy.
Yeah,
he
the
apparently
office
has
of the
nothing better to do than talk to random Canadians.
It's Ohio. I mean, what really goes on?
Hey, Cleveland.
Yep, but yeah, I talked to
Cleveland rocks.
It's Cleveland Rocks.
Drew Carey's taught me anything.
Is that Cleveland Rocks? Yeah.
That Mimi wears too much makeup.
Yeah, it was great. But then the guy
do
in the Attorney General's office in Ohio had such a weird question where he's like, so just to confirm, are you looking to make a report? I'm like, that would be why I'm talking to you. He goes, well, yes, but we just need to make sure that you're not calling to just talk about it. You're calling to make a report. I'm like, do you need me to say the words? He goes, are you willing to make a report? I said, I would like to make a report. He goes, okay. And then he went, like, there's some kind of a weird password that you have to get into with that. I'm not sure.
So, legal issues aside, we are wrapping up the end of our, I guess, our 1 year anniversary show.
1 year anniversary.
So, for people listening from the beginning, which I guess is a lot of you, we just want to say, hey, we'd still do the show even if you were listening.
This is the part where I thought you were about to say we couldn't do this without you, but
the
yeah,
reality
we really
is actually seeing the download numbers, seeing the stats going up month over month, the people who comment on our site, the people who are engaging us, the people who like our Facebook posts, it actually means quite a bit to us because for me, it's almost like that little affirmation that, hey, someone's listening and somebody is, they can agree, they can disagree, they can like or dislike, but the fact is that you're listening
and engaging,
and it's appreciated.
Is there a word that can combine sorry and thank you? Like, thank you?
It's called being Canadian.
Sorry that you have to listen to us, but thank you.
Yeah.
It's called being Canadian.
It's going to be either Srank you or Thordy. I like Thordy better.
Oh,
well, Thordy, if you're listening to us at this point, and hey, check us out at twoandchange.ca. Make sure you check out our blog. Make sure you engage us on Facebook.
Nobody took me up on that offer on our Facebook page where I offered that if anybody can prove that they've got our episodes downloaded on the SD card built into their toilet. You remember that?
What?
Yes, he did make this.
I posted it.
Yes.
I posted this thing to our Facebook page. Anyone that can prove to me they've got something on their built-in SD card in their toilet gets a Tomatin 12 bottle signed by the gang. Yeah.
Okay. Well, for Two and Change, I'm Tim.
I'm not a guy who would do that. I'm Josh.
And I'm Mike. Have a good night.
We'll have a good night. Oh, God. SD card on the... I gotta read.
It was a $14,000 toilet.
Hey, if you buy a $14,000 toilet, we'll buy you a $60 bottle of scotch.
That's right. It's a good deal. It's fun. Good deal. And we'll sign it. Not that that means anything.
Yeah,
if you buy a $14,000 toilet, you're a dumbass.
That's right. Here's the voice of reason over here.
Or maybe try to keep the economy going.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everybody. Today's podcast is going to be about Justin Trudeau's socks. It's all yours, boys.
What?
Huh?
Justin Trudeau's socks.
That's going to be an interesting one.
Can we get some more, I don't know, background, some context here, Doug?
Well,
I need pictures.
Yeah, well, we can look up pictures. That's for something we can sure do. Apparently, it broke the internet, whatever breaking the internet means.
What's her face? The Cardassian, whatever, her butt.
Yeah, that one there. Yeah, I think I'm going to need more scotch for this one.
Yeah, you know what, though? I think if you can land champagne on your ass, you have definitely probably qualified for breaking.
I can put champagne on my ass. How long?
Please don't put champagne on your ass.
Wait. On or in?
This is just getting too graphic.
A little
Are you
bit.
enjoying your beer, by the way?
It is good.
As is this.